Hey guys, I recently acquired this Lafayette radio at an antique store. It's just sprung up pretty close to me here within the last 2 to 3 months. And you know, as interesting as I find it, with finding some of this equipment, the different names and the companies and stuff, I had heard of Lafayette long ago, and I looked them up on the internet. And the story about the Lafayette Radio Corporation is almost as interesting as the story behind this radio here. Um, Lafayette Radio Corporation is an electronics firm, more or less, that was a retail store. And they sold radio sets, amateur radio equipment, CBs, and other communications equipment, as well as electronic components, tools, and other various items through retail outlets as well as by mail order. They were heavily advertised in the U.S. They had such competitors as Radio Shack, Allied Radio, Heathkit, and independent mom and pop retailers across the United States. They were based out of Somerset, New York, and the radio stores, the Lafayette radio stores, were located in Jamaica, New York, and Manhattan in the early 50s. The electronics kits were produced by the Jamaica facility in New York. They had catalogs, popular electronic catalogs. They were heavily advertised by publications such as Stereo Review, High Fidelity, Audio, Popular Mechanics, and Popular Electronics, among many others. The company offered a free 400-page catalog filled with descriptions of vast quantities of electronic gear. Good luck trying to get one of them today. They had mail order. They did all kinds of neat stuff. They actually had sound rooms in some of their stores that would allow you to go in and experience the effects of their equipment, what it sounded like before you could purchase it. I mean, this was back in the day, folks, when this was back in the 60s, when you were still running some tube and mostly transistorized equipment as the 60s moved on. So I can just imagine some of the speaker systems and some of the amplifiers and receivers and stuff that they had, probably such high quality, full, warm sounding equipment. Their stores ranged from 2,000 to 5,000 square feet. I mean, that's incredible. They had a part-time technician and a repair shop on site. They were so busy that sometimes they had frequent out-of-stock situations in their stores, which they had to go across town to other stores and get parts and bring them back. Fewer than 100 stores, far fewer than Radio Shack, thousands of local outlets, Lafayette Radio remained more of a dedicated enthusiast store than a mass marketer, and they seemed to hold on to that until the late 70s. The remaining Lafayette stores in the state of New York closed by the end of 1981, and they had one here. They give an example about some Lafayette stores remained open until 1981. It says here, for example, Long Branch, New Jersey store finally closed in the fall of '81. Unsold inventory was literally shoveled into dumpsters overnight to vacate the store. That is just sickening to think that that's how they had to liquidate all their stuff and literally get rid of it in the trash. The Lafayette name was purchased up by Circuit City of Richmond, Virginia, and they actually operated under the name of Lafayette Circuit City for some time, but they couldn't withstand the competition of other stores there in New York. And as 2003 rolled around, the Lafayette brand name was relaunched at the CES show that year, and their products are still offered through special dealers and limited retail stores as well. Of course, Lafayette was mainly known in some of this reading to be well known for CBs and VHF receivers. They heavily promoted their own brands of products and also carried such brands as Marantz, Fisher, Pioneer, AR, Dynaco, KLH, Wharfdale, Bozak, BIC, Gerard, Dual, Technics, Akai, Shure, Pickering, Electro Voice, JBC, Panasonic, and Sony, among others. They built their own speaker line, which this radio in front of you right here is a Criterion 1 or Criterion 1, I'm not sure exactly how you say that, but they had a lot of different floor speakers and stuff that went along with this Criterion 1 or Criterion 1, however you pronounce that. like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The higher the number, the higher the quality of speaker from what I've read here. They were quick in industry standards to jump on bandwagons such as quadraphonic, 8-track recorders, compact cassettes. They had the only facility set up somewhere here on the East Coast that you could actually walk into and experience quadraphonic sound when SQ4 came around. They also carried solid and hollow-bodied guitars. I mean, it's absolutely amazing some of the stuff that they had in this store, and it would have been really neat to still see one of these around today, but it's just not feasibly possible, you know. Something like that, if they built their components and products like today's markets do, it wouldn't survive very long at all. I could see Walmart carrying a lot of this crap, and basically you buy it, walk out the door, and throw it in the dumpster. The stuff today just isn't worth a damn. The radio in front of you, I have a feeling, probably come from somewhere in the late 60s, early 70s. I'm not sure. I haven't date-coded any capacitors in there. It does work. I will show you that in the next part. And I'll also show you some voltage issues I had with this wall adapter that a fellow YouTuber had addressed and had given me some suggestions to kind of monitor it. I'll show you what those voltages are and what it runs under load and stuff. So thank you for watching. And if you want to see more, please look up part 2 of this.